Initial vote counting is underway in the Philippine midterm elections. The polls closed at 6 p.m. local time after being open for 12 hours. Nearly 62 million eligible voters have cast their ballots, and around 43,000 candidates vied for 18,000 posts. The election is widely seen as a proxy battle between President Rodrigo Duterte and politicians opposed to his deadly war on drugs. Now, experts say that the most crucial race is for the 12 available slots in the Senate. Mr. Duterte is seeking to fill up the 24-seat chamber with his allies to fast-track his legislative agenda. Well, the election has been plagued by technical glitches. The Commission on Elections said it received complaints of up to 400 vote-counting machines that have malfunctioned over the day. Buena Bedell has been monitoring today's polls, and she joins us live from Manila for the latest right now. Buena, could you give us an overview of the conduct of the polls?
Well, across the Philippines, there were reports of defective vote-counting machines. These are the machines that the Filipino voters would feed their ballots into, and these serve as scanners of these shaded circles beside the candidates' names in their ballots. The Philippines Commission on Elections said that from 400 to 600 vote-counting machines out of the 85,000 machines in polling stations across the country encountered problems. Now, re-electionist Senator Grace Poe, who topped pre-election surveys, had to delay her voting from morning to noon because of a defective vote-counting machine in her precinct in San Juan City. This is a city located right at the center of the regional capital, Metro Manila. Even former Vice President Jejomar Binay's ballot was rejected by a vote-counting machine in Makati City, considered the urban center's financial district. Now, there were also problems of power supply interruptions in other areas of the country, including in Talisay City and Bacolod City in central Philippines, as well as in Zamboanga City in southern Philippines. However, since the vote-counting machines do have backup batteries, these power supply interruptions did not disrupt the voting process. Now, there is a campaign ban in place starting on the eve of Election Day and on Election Day. But on the voting precincts that we did visit, we still saw some facilitators trying to distribute sample ballots to voters. Now, the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission actually said that it is already investigating 15 cases of vote buying and formalized them to complaints before the prosecutor of the different cities those complaints are in. It also released a footage last week of a police vehicle supposedly assisting in a vote-buying activity in a specific locality. Now, there were also reports of explosions in the southern Philippine island of Mindanao, although the Philippine National Police says these are isolated cases. 3 explosions occurred ahead and during the midterm polls. These include first, one Sunday evening in Cotabato City. This is the seat of the interim leaders of the new autonomous regional government there. Another one occurred at 1 in the morning Monday ahead of the polls at Dato Odin, Sinuswat Town, also in Mindanao, just beside Cotabato City. And after polls opened at 7 in the morning, another explosion occurred in Dato Odin, Sinuswat Town. Initial reports in the Sunday evening explosion says that the blast was due to 2 improvised explosive devices in a relocation site in that city. Now, across the country, there were over 36,800 public schools in 81 provinces that were designated as voting centers that catered to the millions of Filipinos who trooped to those stations to cast their ballots. This is actually the 4th national automated elections in the country. Prior to 2010, election inspectors had to manually count the votes in ballots where the names of candidates were handwritten by voters. Now they just have to shade a circle beside those already printed names in the ballots. But of course, the new technology was seen to kind of decrease the errors of manual counting done by the election inspectors then. But there are also challenges like the defective vote counting machines that a lot of voters experienced today. For example, in polling centers where the defective voting machines rejected a certain ballot, the voters had to be held in that precinct for a time before the replacement machine arrived from the election commission. But overall, despite these challenges, automation of the election certainly sped up the vote counting process.
All right, many thanks for that. Buena Bernal speaking to us from Manila.